Hey, IBMOR brothers. Back again. I haven't been here in a long time. Forgive me, brothers, for I have not rambled in a week. So, what makes me pick up the mic today after a week being in stupor? And I've been in the malaise for about a week, but it gets that way when there's just nothing that causes you to pick up the mic or nothing that causes you to actually have something to say. The thoughts have been there, and there have been things I could have produced, but sometimes it wasn't enough or complete enough to actually put it out. I shall endeavor to do better. But what causes me to pick up the mic today is this attack on the Black Manosphere. They think that it's weak. They think that it's in chaos. They think that it's time to go ahead and throw dirt on it. So you see it all over the place, like from the old manosphere, the old iteration of the so-called Black Manosphere, to other people, the B1 or pro-Black. Obviously, the women hate it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So they think that the Black Manosphere, as we like to call it, is an organization. Just like MGTOW, right? They thought it's an organization. They thought if certain personalities or certain YouTubers would self-destruct or get destroyed or go down in flames, that the whole thing we call the Black Manosphere would go down in flames too. It shows you the ignorance of people. It shows you the ignorance of Black people. It shows you the ignorance of people understanding a structure or a movement, much like MGTOW, the Black Manosphere that came out of the Red Pill Manosphere, which has been around for 20 years and still going on and actually growing. It's not a organized structure. It's a movement. It's a movement of people that have decided that there's certain information they want to know and there's certain voices they want to either listen to or project out of their own, right? These are thoughts and ideas and situations that need to come out, and it needs a place for it to come out. And the Black Manosphere, as we call it, is one of those places. So I was looking at Jason Black, and it's one thing to be ahead of the game, and it's another thing to kind of chime in afterward when you think that something's done. I saw that with myself when I decided to leave the first time. I was leaving because it was a personal thing, it was a family thing. It's not that they overestimated that my resolve. Since they didn't understand what I was doing, they tried to throw dirt on it, right? But rumors of my YouTube death were overstated. And over a year later, here I still am. Probably not as powerful, but more influential. Make that make sense. Like, like you said, the business is going to focus on a so-called Black Manosphere descending into total chaos. And if Jason Black had studied the Black Manosphere, had studied it, I mean, really broke down and studied it, what it is and why it exists, he would have seen this is what's going on in Black Manosphere. This is a yearly thing. This happens about this time every year. In fact, a couple of years ago, maybe it's almost 3 years ago now, really, it was way more chaos in the Black Manosphere than there is now. Way more than it is now. And what Jason Black gets wrong is that it's not breaking down into chaos. What it's doing is actually growing. This normally when the Black Manosphere goes through something like this is actually a growth spurt. But he hasn't studied it enough. He hasn't been around it enough to even understand it because he's never engaged. In fact, the Black Manosphere is the opposite. It's actually broken through. It's actually going to get more popular, which I think he knows. There's different reasons. He says too much focusing on getting women and not on being a producer. Actually, Black Manosphere does not really focus on getting women. Black Manosphere actually focuses on surviving women and understanding themselves. That's what really the Black Manosphere focuses on. Now, there are dating coaches and relationship coaches that focuses on getting women because that's what men want. But also men want to focus on themselves because the Black Manosphere does focus on being a producer. There are more than a few channels that focuses on money, that focuses on business, that focuses on lots of different things. But I'm sure Jason Black doesn't go to those channels. Says too many posers faking it till you make it. I have no idea what he's talking about. But YouTube is full of those kind of people. Just because the Black Manosphere has them, YouTube is full of them. There are all the YouTubers in the ecosystem of YouTube have the same kind of people, have the exact same kind of people. So expecting the black manosphere not to have those kind of people is silly. Too many black swirlers becoming what you claim to hate. Okay, number one, swirlers are black females and white males as defined by Crystalline Kerrison. She's the one that came up with swirlers. And basically, if you want to take what he's saying about too many black swirlers, is actually reflected in the environment. A lot of millennials and most Generation Zs are dating out of the black community. So it's not too many. They're actually a reflection of what's going on in their lives. And most of the people in the millennials that are in SYSBM that have married out, that have dated out, that have dated others is actually a reflection of what's going on in society. There's not too many. And what he calls the black swirlers or the black SYSBM, I think that's what he's trying to call them, aren't all dating out and dating white women. SYSBM, a lot of them date non-ADOS. In fact, most of them, if you actually listen to them for like 5 seconds, you will actually realize they're dating non-ADOS. Most of them don't date white women, if that's what you're calling, because the swirl is actually defined as a white man and a black woman. Most of SYSBM are not with white women. Now, they could be with Asian, they could be with Latina, they could be with non-ADOS, which actually reflects what's going on in the real world, especially with men of means, men that are accomplished. Nobody ever tells you that. But I've talked to too many people at a certain level that tell me who they're dating and what they're dating. They're not dating ADOS women. In fact, one of the most prominent men in the United States that's black, Robert F. Smith, guess what he's married to? They were a poor imitation of the white manosphere. Now, me being in the black manosphere for about 5 or 6 years and have been in the white manosphere. Now, what the black manosphere lacks is money. It lacks financial support. That's what the black manosphere lacks. But if Jason Black actually looked and actually studied instead of instead of being a hater, what he would have noticed is that a lot of the talking points, a lot of stuff that we do, a lot of our talent that's in the black manosphere is being stolen by the white manosphere. A lot of our talking points, a lot of stuff that we come up with is being stolen right now by the black manosphere. In fact, Jason Black manosphere is the thought leader at this present time of the white manosphere. So what you're saying right now is what? Bullshit. Now, I've seen other pictures and photos talking about the black manosphere, rest in peace, like 2016 to 2020, when in fact the black manosphere actually extends all the way back to 2007. And you think because a few people will implode, in fact, most of the people in the black manosphere have not imploded. They're actually still here, whether you like them or not. O'Shea's still here. Valdez is actually doing better numbers than he did when he started. His channel's actually growing. I'm still here, and my numbers aren't growing as well as they could be because I'm shadow banned. But my numbers are actually stable, even though I don't produce every day. But my numbers are actually stable. So where the implosion is, I don't know. Obsidian has gone and come back, and he's still here. We have new voices like the Bernard Riley that's actually doing well and growing. We have the habitual line steppers that are growing. We have a number of channels like Man of Tomorrow, MOT. He's still here and still growing. And everybody looks at Kevin because Kevin is the most popular. And Kevin's the one that actually broke out and became mainstream, which is what everybody is looking at. Okay, whether he's a black manosphere or not, basically his principles and the stuff that he talks about is black manosphere. Those are our talking points out there in real life, in real time. And they're more popular than ever. And I know that it's a sore spot to what we call pro-blacks or nationalists or whatever you want to call them in these days and times, because it's a sore spot to you, because the people that fund you, which are the black women, hate it. And you can't think of a counter narrative to come back at the black manosphere with it. You can't combat it because you don't have the capacity to combat it. You don't. I know you don't. Nobody does. Last I looked, the white manosphere or any other sphere or any other group do not have 4 PhDs that agree with what we're doing. You don't, which makes you guys afraid. You don't have it because over here, I don't know what you guys do over there. Over here, we do PhD level work and have for a very long time. I know personally, I don't do popular narratives. I don't do the rah-rah stuff. And I don't do the rah-rah stuff on purpose because a lot of stuff I'm going to talk about is going to piss people off. Even in politics, I don't do the rah-rah stuff because it's going to piss people off. So no matter what you guys talk about, wherever you talk about it, because I've been on the white manosphere side, I've been over on MGTOW side, I've been on the pickup artist side, I've been over there. I know what they talk about. I know how they get down. They don't talk about stuff to the level that we talk about it. They can't even be honest with themselves. What we talk about over here, you're not going to find anyplace else. The way we talk about it, how we talk about it, how we get down. Even in politics, you're not going to find it anyplace else. Because unlike what everybody else does, we bring people that's on the ground. When you talk about inside politics and you talk about what's going on in Washington, D.C., you talk about what it is, we got people that work for them. We got former people that have worked for them. When the Capitol Hill riots went down, right? We had a police officer that had inside information about what was going on. We had Capitol Hill police texting him information and showing him documents about what went on in real time. The Black Manosphere, when the COVID thing broke in January, February, we had experts in real time, not afterwards. We had experts in real time telling us what was happening, what was going on, and they were 100% accurate. Now, we don't do the rah-rah stuff. We have never done the rah-rah stuff. And you know me, Jason. You know who I am, okay? So we don't have to fudge. You know the level of my work. We ain't got to fudge. You know the level of my research. So you know that I am not the one to mess with. The Black Manosphere is going to grow. It's going to survive and grow. One or two people falling out, one or two people doxing each other, which happens constantly, okay? It is what it is. You can't herd cats. You can't herd cats. So you're always going to have people that are bottom feeders that do that kind of stuff. It's always going to happen. There's always going to be people that are battling back and forth. They're going to do stupid shit. That's going to happen. That happens in any organization. Trust and believe. I was in a conscious community, still are in a conscious community. And that stupid shit happens all the time. You don't hear about it because it's not public. They usually try to contain it, but it happens all the time. And it's still here. So the milieu that you came out of, you know very well that shit happens all the time. It's just not on YouTube. The only difference between what they do, what other organizations do, versus the Black Manosphere, which exists on YouTube, is that it's public. But as long as the situation is here and exists, then these people will come. You're talking about being a producer. Most of my subs make $80,000 and above. They're already producers. They already make money. Very few of my subs are broke. Okay. There are some, but there's always some. I have people that are students. A lot of kids that come through here are STEM. They're college students. They're not broke. They're not broke people. They're not idiots. They're not street dudes. College students. Even the street dudes make quite a bit of money. Now, are they PhD level corporate? No, but they truckers. They run their own business. They got families. We got people that are former politicians in the Black Manosphere. We got people that are high-level military. Yes, high-level military. Some have done things that they can't even talk about in the Black Manosphere. Why did they all come here? Because we all have a shared goal, the upliftment and the liberation of the black male, which most people are afraid of. When I talk about black male liberation, people get scared. Because as long as the Black Manosphere was small and it was contained and nobody knew about it, nobody really said much about it. Oh, it's so small, it's insignificant. And people think that, I have a platform that's big enough that I can bury the Black Manosphere. You can't. Google couldn't bury it. YouTube couldn't bury it. The academics couldn't bury it. The black female politicians and high level of black females are scared of it. Because if you touch it, you try to attack it, then the information that you're trying to attack will come out. And we do PhD level work over here, homie. Certified PhD level work. Certified PhD level work. We actually break this down to the scintilla where you can understand it. And there's stuff that's on the books, that's still on the books, that we're just scratching the surface with. There's not only just black community level, not just national level. We're talking about global level information. Nobody's ever done. I can toot my own horn. Nobody's ever done anything comparing out of wedlock birth rates around the world except me. Nobody's ever even scratched the surface. Nobody's in the Manosphere or whatever you want to call it, even the black YouTube. You might have had it done elsewhere on a small level. Talks about demographics, and the people that do talk about demographics don't talk about demographics the way I talk about it. Now, if we really wanted to revive the black manosphere and put it back on solid footing, that's easy to do because the people that are still hungry for the information and they're still out there. So what it looks like, the black manosphere imploding, it's not even imploding, not even close. People keep trying to bury it, keep trying to call it a wasteland. Why? Because you have so many other people that are content creators trying to throw dirt on the thing that they started, things that they don't even control. Nobody controls it. That's the problem. Nobody controls this, which is why you can have people go left and go right, because nobody controls it. And that's probably a good thing. Since nobody controls it, you can't shoot the head because there is no head. And one YouTuber decides he's going to leave, which they never do leave. They say, I'm not part of the black manosphere. Bullshit, because they always come back and they're still eating off the tree. They're still here. They never left. They're still in the pond. And you have other people that are new trying to get in the pond. So if people are coming, trying to get in, trying to make new content, that means the black manosphere is not imploding or dying. It's actually growing. And it's going through growing pains, which is what you're looking at. You're not looking at a death. You're looking at growing pains because it's getting bigger. Because it's becoming popular. More people are coming in talking about the same thing. And at the end of the day, it's about the ideas, not about an organization. As with most things, everybody's trying to define what it should be. And just because it doesn't meet your parameters, which, Jason, you're female leaning, which is fine. That's what you do. Your organization leans female. So naturally, you're going to have a problem with the black manosphere because the black manosphere leans male. And everybody else that comes around, okay? They think that the black manosphere, as we call it, this loose collection of people, as we call it, should be run the way they think it should be run. And it doesn't work that way. Nobody has laid out tenets of how about a organization or membership in the black manosphere because there isn't one. And people in the black manosphere do things I disagree with. They do it all the time. But it's a personal disagreement. And my personal disagreement about how things are done in the black manosphere don't mean anything because at the end of the day, we're all a collection of people. It's like the black community. There ain't no rules about how the black community is supposed to run. There is no rules. We're a collection of people. The black community is a collection of people. It really doesn't have a structure per se. And everybody keeps saying the black community is dead. Now, there is an end date. Everybody says the black community is dead, but it's not. Why? Because it's a collection of people. It's not a structure. You kill a Martin Luther King, you kill a Malcolm X, you kill a Khalid Muhammad. Doesn't mean the black community will die. Somebody else will rise out of the ooze and take that person's place. Maybe not as good, maybe not as well, but they will take that place. Or many people will come in and take the place of the person that has fallen. Same thing in the black manosphere. One person leaves, one person gets shot down, and one person refuses to do it anymore. It may not be one person that rises up. It might be many. O'Shea left, or he said that he left. Okay, many people formed in to close that gap, to fill those spaces, and then you get a Kevin Samuels out of that breaks through, which scares people. One, that it's a collection of people, and two, it's with information and study that can't be refuted. The most popular book in the Manosphere is A Man Not by Tommy Curry, by Dr. Tommy Curry. So the black men in this sphere are getting a PhD level education. They're getting a postgraduate education, not only in black men's issues, but politics, about law. We got a lawyer. We got lawyers in here. Got business people in here. Got military people in here. You have a collection of people that are accomplished. They just don't speak their names. You think it's a collection of a ragtag bunch of people, but no. These people are very accomplished. I talk to them. And that's the secret. And everybody knows that's the secret. It's not just clowns. It's not just street level people, which is what they try to claim, that it's street level people. A lot of your content creators have had businesses, have done things on other places. Some of them do have business. Some of them are millionaires. We got a few millionaires that are in this bunch, more than a couple, that are trying to pass on this information. that are here trying to talk about things that nobody wants to talk about because it's the upliftment of black men and black boys. So regardless of what people think, regardless of what people say, you can rename it whatever you want to. We just happen to call it the Black Manosphere as a convenient name, to give it a name, to give a name to a collection of people. But the thing, it's always been here. And even if you kill the name and change it to something else, as people do on their YouTube channels all the time, they're still the same people. It's still the same content. It's changed the name. Call it what you want. At the end of the day, the collection of people that come here, the collection of people that's still growing, still going to be here. And the only way to kill the so-called Black Manosphere is not using female talking points that females shame, guilt, and the need to be right. Shaming the Black Manosphere, calling it names, trying to downgrade it doesn't mean anything. The only way to beat the Black Manosphere is with superior information, with superior knowledge, with superior content, which you know you can't do because you've been stealing the content from the Black Manosphere and using it as your own. Yes, we've heard it. Even you, Jason. Yes, we've heard it. We know where you get your stuff from. We know where you get your stuff from. But you only tell half the story. And that's the problem. You don't tell the whole story because if you told the whole story, it'll piss people off. We tell the whole story over here, homie. Because men have to be pissed off. I said what was coming this year about the economic crisis. I said that back in March? We predicted Donald Trump would lose in a close race where we actually determined that in September? I said that Donald Trump would flip the table over if he lost. I said that in October. And I really don't do domestic politics anymore for the very reason that what's going on now, people get too emotional about it. People are too close to it. But the Black Manosphere is here for a reason. Black Manosphere is growing for a reason. It's not because of the personalities. It's not because of the fame of the Black YouTubers, because basically I came up with all of them. The ones that are popular now, I came up with all of them. And they were not popular when they started. And they planted their feet on the base of something else that went before. We didn't start it from the ground up. It was here before I got here. Was it at this level? No, it's not supposed to be. We're supposed to get here and extend what went on before. We're not supposed to do the same thing, which is a lot of what the 1.0 doesn't understand. We're not supposed to do what you did. Everybody thinks that we're supposed to do exactly what you did or follow the blueprint that you laid out. No, we're supposed to extend it. We're supposed to make a new blueprint. The only thing is with the blueprint that we laid out, it's difficult to follow because you have to work too hard. You have to study too hard. You have to read. You got to read books, which is the bane of the Black community. So if you're thinking that the so-called Black Manosphere, which is basically a collection of people, is going to die because you proclaim it dead, or it's going to die because you can't control it, you can't kill or destroy something you didn't make. And most of the people throwing dirt on it don't understand it. And some of the people trying to throw dirt on it know that what they're saying is not happening, because a lot of times the people that are throwing dirt on it because of the shenanigans are actually in the middle of the shenanigans themselves. So, no, Black Manosphere is not dying. In fact, there's new people coming up as we speak. Lots of them. Lots and lots and lots of them. And that's what's scaring people, is because new people keep coming up. One person leaves, that makes an opportunity for the next person. And you got people on the outside trying to make money off of the Black Manosphere. Even certain YouTubers that probably shouldn't be doing it. And certain people have been trying to kill the Black Manosphere for a very long time, including you, Jason, who's still rolling right along. And every time certain people do it, the Black Manosphere shakes it off and keeps right on moving. And in this environment that's happening right now with COVID-19 and automation that's coming, I heard Black females that are in positions, in political positions, that in policy-making positions, parroting the same information I talked about 3-4 years ago. Parroting the same information that I talked about, that we talked about, that's been talked about in these spaces, in the Black Manosphere spaces, that nobody wants to talk about, that we talked about 3-4 years ago, because the Black Manosphere is ahead of the curve, and I try to make sure that they stay ahead of the curve. That's my responsibility here in these spaces, stay ahead of the curve, so that people like Jason Black can actually get a peek into what's coming. So no, Black Manosphere is actually growing. Going through growing pains. It's not dead. Anyway, I think I've rambled long enough. I'm going to jump up out of here, and I'll